So hello everyone. Good evening to all of you. I Deepali Panchal, the faculty from CSE department. I introduce the expert, Mr. Kashyap Patel, who is an associate consultant at a TCS, Tata Consultancy Services. He will give a speech on the technical concept. That is only the introduction of Azure concept of cloud. So next speech from Kashyap Patel. Now, Kashyap Patel, over to you.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, madam. So, as madam introduced, so basically myself, Kashyap Patel. I am working with the Tata Consultancy Service since last 10 years as a consultant, associate consultant. So my expertise is basically in the cloud offering. So most of the clouds like AWS, Azure, and GCP, but I'm mostly looking to the Azure part first and AWS as well. Google side, I'm little bit like it's not my core expertise actually. So moving to the today's topic, it's all about Azure Cloud, Microsoft Azure. So can you just confirm your voice and presentation, everything is perfect? So then we can move ahead. Yeah, am I audible clearly?
Yes,
Hello?
sir. You are audible.
Okay, yeah, okay then, thank you. Okay, let me go to the presentation more. Okay, so okay, can you just confirm me what will be like audience like it's which semester? I mean, is it a fresher, first semester or second, third? So that I have like at least some idea. Okay. Anyways, so today we will going to speak about the Microsoft Azure and cloud concept. So first of all, what will be the cloud basically? What is a cloud computing? Is it a different from something which we are usually using, or it's like traditional legacy computing part? So basically, cloud is nothing different, but it is something like that you cannot see, you cannot touch, or maybe like, so for an example, you have a pen drive and you have a mobile. Okay, so you want to store something in your file, some files, or maybe some presentation you want to store. So what usually we do is we put it in the pen drive. Okay, so pen drive is something which you can touch, which you can know. Okay, you can know the size of the pen drive, you can touch, and you can transfer the data from the pen drive to anywhere other, like, okay. So that is a something like which we usually do. Okay, cloud is a something different. So for an example, the same presentation which you want to put it in the pen drive, you probably upload on Google Drive. Okay, so Google Drive is again a one of the storage. Hope you all are aware about the Google Drive. Okay, so Google Drive is again a storage account. Okay, there you can put your pen drive, sorry, your presentation. Let's an example. Someday you want to access that particular presentation, and you didn't bring that particular pen drive. But if you have put that particular presentation in the Google Drive, you can from anywhere you can access it, right? You can just sign into the Google Drive and you can download the presentation. So this is something like similar concept, not even similar concept. Google Drive is the actual example of the cloud computing. So what I mean to say is a cloud is something which you cannot touch, you cannot see where it is, but you can do your whatever the computing related work you want to do. So simple. Pen drive is again a storage account, a storage where you can put everything like data and all that. And the Google Drive is again a storage where all the you can copy and you can present, you can upload any data. Okay, only difference is the Google Drive you can access from anywhere in the world. You can just have internet connection and Google Drive account, you can download your data, right? Pen drive, you can probably sometime you can forget it at home and something like that. So Google Drive is everywhere reachable. That's why we call it a cloud computing. So for simple example, cloud is available in every world, in the whole world, right? You can see in the sky, everywhere cloud is available, and you cannot see the limit. Okay, how how big the cloud is. Okay. Similarly, cloud is very similar, very scalable, high computing, and it's available in entire world. You can connect from anywhere, just you require an internet connection. So this is just an example which I have given you. We will look into the cloud part in depth. So we'll have a login, we'll have a demonstration again. Okay, so just moving to the next part. So how this evolution starts. So basically, as I explained earlier, uh, everything is physical for now. Like probably you have go to your computer labs. There you might have seen this server room. Okay, so there are multiple racks available. In the racks, there are servers. So you can go into the server room, you can touch the server, you can connect the server, you can have a Windows session or remote session of that particular server. So it is visible. Okay, you can clearly visible, you can clearly touch that particular server. So that's what the legacy environment was. So it's a physical environment. So physical data center was there, the servers are there, like that way. Okay. Now the evolution has been begin and it's moved to the virtualization. So now what was there are like there are certain softwares available like VMware is there, Hyper-V is there, Red Hat has own virtualization. So Oracle V is there. So there are the virtualization software. So what that they will do in the single server. So earlier on the one particular physical server, we can install only Linux or maybe Windows or maybe Mac OS. Okay. In one particular server, you can have only one operating system. But after this virtualization came into the picture, you have to install the virtualization software like Hyper-V or maybe VMware. After that, you can divide your particular server. Like in one particular server, you can install virtual Windows and you can install Linux both. Okay, at the same time you can log in with the both operating system. So that is what the virtualization concept is. Okay, moving next. So after virtualization it comes to the cloud computing. So people say that why, if it is like multiple OS is available, then why I need to put my server in the server room only? Okay, I can put my server in anywhere in the world and I just provide the connectivity via internet. Okay, so that is what the cloud computing. Cloud computing is you cannot see the server is where is the server. Server will be available in somewhere in the remote location. Okay, you can't touch, you can't know the size of that as well. Whatever your purpose, like for an example, as I told you, you just require some file to store somewhere. In that case, that is your purpose, that you need to put file. Okay, that is your main aim. So you will achieve your aim without knowing that what will be the baseline infrastructure. Okay, what will be the size of that particular storage account, how you connect, whether it's a Linux, whether it's a hyper like not hyper like uh, it's a HDD, like whether it's a HDD or maybe SDD. So you don't need to worry about the infrastructure. Whatever your purpose is, you will complete your purpose, and then whatever amount you have to pay, you just have to pay that. Okay, so that is what the cloud compute is. Moving next is container and the serverless infrastructure. So again, the containerized application and serverless, that is again a part of the cloud only. So in the cloud also, you don't require, if you want to run some website, okay, obviously if you want to run your website, you need to have a virtual machine. On that particular virtual machine, you need to install IIS server or maybe some web server. Okay, and then only you can host your website and it will be running. So that is what the server with the server infrastructure. Okay, now moving to the serverless, there you don't need to install anything. You don't need a virtual machine, you don't need IIS server or maybe web server. Still your website will run. So that is what the serverless infrastructure. And the containerized application is again the same Docker container which we are talking about. So that is all this offering is a part of cloud offering, containerized and serverless. So this is how the technology evolves, and like we are moving towards the next generation part. Okay, so the next, so these are the agendas for today. We will discuss each and every point. We are running out of time, so we'll directly move to the next slide. So as I told you, what is a cloud? So cloud computing is just a cloud is a metaphor word for the internet. We can say that cloud is something which is not present at the sorry, which is present at the remote location. Basically, as I told you, so you can like you don't know where you are putting your file, like you are uploading your file to the Google Drive, that you don't know that actual file will be copied to which location. Okay, so that is something which is a remote location. So that is what the cloud is. uh, and then cloud computing is simply whatever the computational part you are doing, you don't know that it's in what which particular server it's working. Like if you are hosting some website, okay, you are uploading all the website related pages, everything you are uploading, whether it's a PHP or maybe it's a .NET, any kind of the website you are hosting, okay, you don't know that that particular website is running on which particular servers. Okay, so that is what the cloud computing is. Only thing is that you have to pay whatever you are using, like whatever the service you are using, you have to pay for that. So simple example like Oyo, then Ola, everything. Like Ola doesn't have any cab, okay, they don't purchase any car or anything. They just hire some drivers and with their car. And what you need to do is, like, you don't need to buy a car for moving from your home to the railway station. Okay, you don't need to buy a car, you just pay a rent for that particular service, and then you just step out. Okay, so that is what this cloud concept is. Whatever you are doing, like whatever your expectation to do, like you have to uh, you have to host some particular website. Okay, let's an example, there is a marathon, Vadodara marathon is there. Okay, so for particular time period, like for a 5 days or maybe 10 days, you have to host your website for registration and all that particular purpose. Okay, so why you have to purchase a server for a 5 days website? Okay, you don't need to purchase a server, you don't need to require for web servers and all that. What you can do is you can just sign into the Azure cloud or maybe AWS cloud, sign in there, have some accounts and everything, payment card, credit details and everything, you put it there, do a registration, host your website for 5 days or maybe whatever 10 days or whatever it is. And then once it is done, you just delete everything. Okay, so you have to pay for only 5 days resource consumption. You don't need to pay for everything. Okay, so that is what the cloud computing is. It is very reliable again, because it's offered by Amazon and Microsoft. So it's reliable. Everything is there. Whatever you can do in the physical infrastructure, the same thing you can do it here as well. So that is what the cloud is all about. So when this Microsoft Azure is started, so basically, if you can see in the last line, the Microsoft Azure is started on 2009. Earlier than in the 2002, AWS, like Amazon, have introduced their AWS service. The AWS is again one of the biggest cloud provider. So the second is the Microsoft Azure, and then there are others Oracle have their own cloud, IBM also have their own cloud. Salesforce is again one particular service, but it's only a website offering. So it been started from 1999. So this is how this Microsoft is started. Okay. So then what are the characteristics? So as I said, this cloud Azure is on demand. So whenever you require, like for an example, you have some requirement for hosting a website for Vadodara Marathon. So it's on demand. Whenever you require, you just sign up and complete your registration and you can start your work. Okay, so it's on demand, self-service. You don't need somebody to deliver your virtual machine, then some network engineer will come and it's complete the networking part, and then you have to install the website like operating system. So you don't need it. It's a self-service and on demand. Anytime you can sign up and you can start. Broad network access, so wherever is internet is available, you can connect and you can do that signing and hosting. Rapid elasticity, so as I that will be like when we move in the next part, you will understand what is the rapid elasticity. Basically, you can expand your it's a highly scalable, so anywhere, like from any region, it's available. And it's for an example, you are hosting one particular website, and like for an example, it's Flipkart. Okay, so Flipkart have big billion sale. So your usual user is somewhere like 1 lakh or 2 lakh. But when this big billion sale will start on maybe midnight, that time we probably know that this uh, users will be rise, okay, from 1 lakh to 5 lakh or maybe 10 lakh, something like that. So you know that this particular time frame there will be high traffic. So that elasticity you can manage. So you can manage your load balancing, you can manage your traffic, you can put auto scaling, like it will be when the traffic will goes beyond the 80%, you can it will be automatically scale and the virtual machine will be cloned and there will be a double virtual machine. Okay, so that kind of automation also you can do. Then measured service. So every service is measured. How much you are using, that much only you have to pay. That's the measured one. Like so basically, pay as you go. We call it as a pay as you go model. So how much you are pay using, that much only you have to pay. So these are the benefits. So it's drive down costs like whatever as I same pay as you go. So whatever you are using, that much you have to go pay. Accessibility is a broad accessible everywhere you can accessible where your internet is available. Productivity, scalability. So scalable, it's just I have given an example of Flipkart. So it's highly scalable. It's auto scale as well, like it automatically scale whenever there is a, so you have to configure some criteria for that, and based on the criteria it will be auto scale. And business continuity like backup, and so everything is, let's an example, you have hosted a website and it's it is like that particular virtual machine is get failed, or maybe it's there is some internet outage or maybe some uh, power failure. So then in that case, your virtual machine will be there, your data will be there. You can just move your data. I mean, you move your virtual machine to other region and you can start it. So backup and recovery is also there. So moving to the some examples. So there are three types of we call it a model. So one is a infrastructure as a service, the other one is a platform as a service, and the last one is a software as a service. So you can see in the last line, OneDrive, Google Drive, Dropbox. So that's the basically infrastructure as a service. So you are getting infrastructure like a storage. Storage account is the basically one classic example of an infrastructure. So you are just putting your data inside the storage account. So that's the infrastructure as a service. After that, there is an email account. So you are using some maybe Gmail or maybe some other account like Yahoo or that all. Okay, so that these are the basically a service. Okay, email is a one kind of the service. So these are, we call it as a software as a service, because if you want to have set up your email account, what you need to do is like you all have a like Parul email account, okay, at the rate pu.com or something like that. So what you need to do is you have to some servers, you have some email servers you have to host, and that there you have to install the email software. So here in Google, do you when you are signing in the email account in Gmail, do you install any software? Do you do anything? Nothing. We are just using a service. So that's why it's we call it as a software as a service. You don't need to set up anything in the background. You don't need a server. You don't need any software, any email servers, anything. You don't need it. Okay. So that's what we call it as a software as a service. The third one is we call it the platform as a service. So for an example, uh, let me give you an example. Anyone have done some hosting, like website hosting? So if you are doing some website hosting or something like that, there you probably have seen that you want to design that pages, okay, word pages and all that. Uh, so there is one website, actually I don't remember the name, but everything you can design in online only. That like okay, avoid that example. So simple example, Office 365. So Office 365 probably you guys know. So what we are doing is we are installing everything like uh, Office, like a PowerPoint and a Word, then Excel. So these are the bundle. Okay, Office bundle. Microsoft Office have this all Visio, then PowerPoint and everything. So this is one kind of platform. now we can access everything without installing anything. We can access it online as well. Okay, you can just go in the Google that Office Word online, and you can edit and you can print it as well. Okay, you can create your presentation in PowerPoint in online as well. So that is actually a platform where you are making everything, and it's online. Okay, so that's a platform as a service. So there are three different offering: infrastructure as a service, software as a service, and platform as a service. Okay. Now there are three different types of deployment model. So there might be a public cloud, hybrid cloud, and private cloud. So public cloud, these are the, like Azure is a publicly open. So anyone can sign into Azure or maybe AWS or GCP, Google. So these are the public clouds. You can just have an account and you can start your working. There are some private clouds. So Azure and this AWS will offer you some bundle. So like bundle in the sense, it's there will be some installation suite, and you, if you have your own, like let's an example, this PU wants their own private cloud. Similarly, you just whatever we are you doing in the public cloud, it's similar to that, but it is only reachable to you guys only the students and only the faculties only. So that is what the private cloud. So for that particular thing, you require servers to be installed in your universities, and then you have to install these bundles what offered by the Azure, and then you have to integrate with the particular email IDs and all that. So it will be only available for only universities, faculties, and students. So that is what we call it the private cloud. And there will be hybrid. So it's hybrid is again mostly the organization use the hybrid cloud because they don't want everything. Like if, for an example, some banking transaction. So banking transaction, everything is very highly secured one. So what they are doing is they are using a website and offering they are using in the publicly, but whatever the data like and the data, I mean, transactional data and everything, that they are storing in their own premise data center, not in the remote location. So that is what we call it the hybrid infrastructure. So partial is public, partial is on premise. Okay, so these are the three different type of offering. Today we are talking about on the public cloud, so that is what the Azure means. So we are only half hour, so we'll quickly move. So we already understand this Microsoft Azure public cloud. So what is the public cloud is? It's available to everyone. So this AWS, Salesforce, Amazon, Microsoft Azure, then Google GCP, the Google Cloud Platform. These all are a public cloud. The private is which is only for the single organizations. So that is limited to the privately, and the hybrid is a mix of that. This we already covered: infrastructure as a service, platform as a service, and software as a service. So these are the models basically. And what is Azure? So Azure we already discussed. So it's a cloud platform. It offers all three offerings like infrastructure, platform, and the software as a service. All these offerings will be covered in the Azure. So these are the basically portfolio for the Azure. So these are the offerings. So as a platform, you can host the virtual machine, you can have app services, you can have mobile apps, you can connect the data, SQL data, or maybe warehouse, or maybe table kind of this. This is document DB, the different NoSQL database. Then you have IoT service, machine learning is there, content and delivery network CDN is there. So these are all the offerings which Azure is have for this particular thing, like for cloud offerings. So we will see few of them. We will have a demonstration of that as well. Okay, so this is because Microsoft Azure is from Microsoft. It doesn't mean that it only have a Windows machine, because Microsoft is known for the Windows. Okay, so it doesn't mean that in Azure you can host Linux as well. It's not only limited to the Microsoft on Windows only. Okay, so we can have a Linux flavor as well. So basically, there are 38 region. Even now, this date figure is updated. Maybe it's more than 45, but I have to cross check. But these are the regions. So basically, these are the data centers where the Microsoft Azure have their own on-premises data structure. So you can see in the Asia, we have one particular data center in Mumbai as well. And these are the other regions where they have own data center where there are uh, Azure software, like not software, but their infrastructure is running. So whatever you are computing, whatever your file and whatever hosting you are doing, that will be reside in any of this particular region. I mean, any of this data center. We probably know where it is running, but you cannot go into this particular data center and you can touch servers and all that. Like, okay, you everything is connected via internet, so you can have connectivity via internet and you can access. So these are the data centers. So Azure, they call it as a region basically because let's an example, somebody who are in the India and they want to install that particular website, hosting the website for the Vadodara Marathon only, then why they will have their hosting in the US, okay? So they will select the Mumbai region only. So that will be easy and the latency will be less. So that is why there are different regions available. You can select your region and you can go further for the hosting. And this all regions will be interconnected via a data center. So there are lots of fiber connectivities available. So they have interconnected so that everything will be taken care by the uh, Microsoft only. We don't need to have a look into this. So you can see they have this connectivity under the sea as well. So these are the cross region connectivity. They have created dedicated connection for cross region and under the sea as well. So we'll move to the concept called infrastructure as a service. So in the infrastructure, we have a certain offering. So these are the offerings like compute, storage, and networking. So these are the basically infrastructure part. Okay, if you see, if you go for any mobile shop and you want to buy some mobile, so what you are asking, mostly what we are looking at the what will be the CPU, like 4 core or maybe so in the basically in mobile world, there is a Snapdragon or maybe Qualcomm. Okay. So what we are asking is how much the CPU, what will be the storage account like 4 GB RAM, 64 GB storage. So that is what we are asking. And then networking side, mostly it's a 4G, 5G, right? So these are same thing. So whenever you are going for any mobile buy, you ask this kind of questions. Okay. Similarly, here also in the infrastructure, whenever you want to host your website, so you mostly have to look into these three part. How, what kind of the networking availability, what will be the storage account, and what kind of the compute facility you are it's offered. So we will see how this compute, storage, and network will be there. Then there are some management kind of things. So this is the management is Azure AD. So basically, if you are aware about the AD is the Active Directory. So it is something like that. We can have centralized logging, and so if you go into the lab, basically in your computer lab, there are lots of machines, but you have one particular username and account. You can do a login in any machine. Okay, it doesn't mean that there is a local. So if you for an example, if you have your personal laptop, whatever the username and password is working in your particular laptop, it will not work in some other laptop. Okay, because that's a local account, local username and password which you have done. But if you are going in the lab, whatever the username and password you have, you can log in with the any of the virtual machine. So that's the example of Active Directory. It's a Active Directory basically lightweight protocol. It's a directory protocol. So whenever you are working, it's a synchronized connectivity. Synchronize of single sign-in, we call it actually SSO, single signing offering. So that's a Azure Active Directory. So you don't need to create an individual local account for that particular part. So there are some management kind of things. So this accounting, then resource management, and then key vault. So these are the different aspect. We'll look into that later if the time is allowed. So basically, if you go to this compute side, so in the compute, basically we have some entry level virtual machine, some general purpose virtual machines, the large memory virtual machines, and compute optimized. So basically, entry level virtual machine is something you want to try, something you want to develop, or maybe some for testing purpose. So, for an example, if you are developing one particular website, only what you require is maybe a .NET or maybe Visual Studio for designing a application. So there you don't need to pay very large amount. Once you develop your code, after that you move to some highly scalable virtual machine. But for developing and for testing purpose, you can continue with the entry level virtual machine. After that, this is a general purpose virtual machine. General purpose virtual machine is means it's just for like your production environment. So where you can use it's in general use, okay, for like a website hosting, or maybe some IaaS server you want to build, or maybe some store file server, network file storage you want to create. So this is general purpose one. After that, there will be a compute optimized. So compute optimized is something like where you are required some high GPU, like graphic, like you are working with some Photoshop or maybe some video editing. So there you require some high GPUs, okay, some gaming purpose. So this is where the highly computes is there, and there is a large memory. So large memory is something like that for database. Like if you are running some database like a banking database, so there are every fraction of second there are some transactions need to process. So that is why we require a large memory and highly available. Okay, it's a fast, super fast computer we call it. So it has approximately zero point 0.5 terabyte of RAM. Okay, like 500 GB kind of. So this is what the compute families is. So we can have your virtual machine. You can select as per your own need, and you can deploy whether Linux or maybe Windows or anything on top of that particular virtual machine, and you can have your installation, and then you can work. The next is, okay, we'll see the hands-on lab later towards the end of the session, because we are running with the only 20 minutes. So quickly we'll complete this networking part and we'll move to the next topic. So Azure networking is something like, so this why this network will be there. So everything is connected via internet. Okay, whenever you are hosting your something one web app or application, everything will be connected via network. So this Azure network is mandatory, because everything you will connect on premise to not on premise, any service offering you are connecting, that will be connecting via some IP address. Okay, so that's why IP address is required. So networking is required. So whatever your workload in the Azure, it will have some IP address to be bind. Like if you are hosting any virtual machine, that there will be some IP address for that particular virtual machine, and then you have to connect via that particular IP address. So that's why we have to create first is network. Okay, once you create a network, after that only you can connect everything. Like you can connect a virtual machine, or maybe storage, or maybe end services. So that is why the network is required. So it's very easy to create. It's just a form which we need to fill up, and then it will submit it. Then next is a storage account. So in the storage, there are 4 different types of the storage. Now they have introduced one more here. So the one is called blob. Blob means big, large object, BLOB, big, large object. So in the blob, basically, there is a capacity, like you can upload 5 lakh files. Okay, total file number is 5 lakh, and one file or single file can be a 5 terabyte. Okay, so 5 terabyte into 5 lakh, that is what the capacity of this blob kind of storage. So that's why we call it as a big large object storage. Then there will be a tables. So tables is again a SQL kind of table, rows and column. Then queue is a basically messaging service, like an SMS service or maybe email push service. So that is what the queue service is. That is again a storage account kind of thing. And they have introduced one more called the network file storage, that is for sharing a file across the network. So these are the offering of the storage account. We'll quickly move and we'll show you this storage and everything on the portal itself. So what will be the kind of the storage account? So storage or application is also in the characteristic. We have seen that there are mm, backup and recovery. Okay, we have seen the characteristics that it is highly scalable and available in the backups and recovery side. So that's why we are having storage. So basically, data is very important. So you are storing your data and you don't want to lose your data. So that's why we have four different kind of the applications. So locally redundant, that means this data is available only in that particular region. Like an example, we have a region in Mumbai. Okay, we have selected a region as a Mumbai. So whatever your data is there, the data is available only in the Mumbai region, Mumbai data center only. After that, there is a zone redundant. Zone redundant is means if whenever there is a region, we call it the Mumbai as a region, that particular region, they have not only a one data center. In that particular region, they have at least four data center, or maybe, sorry, not four, at least they have a two data center, but usually they have more than two data centers, nearly about four data centers they have. And this all four data center in the Mumbai region, it is aware different, like it's not in the same location. One is in West Mumbai, one will be in South Mumbai, or maybe in Navi Mumbai. So like that way, it's a different. So something power failure happened, or some flood is there in one particular one particular data center, the secondary data center will be available. So that is what, if you have selected zone redundant, that so your file will be available in all these four data centers, which is there in the Mumbai. Okay. If it is a geo redundant, that means that data will be copied from Mumbai to other region as well. So if you have selected Asia region, Asia geography, that data will be cloned to some other geography as well. Okay, that means something happened with the entire that particular location of some nuclear attack, or maybe some power failure for entire Mumbai, or maybe some entire region. Then also your data will be there. You can still access your data via internet. That's what the replication means. So this is how we can do a backup and recovery. Okay, so we'll move to the portal because we have only 15 minutes. So this is how this Azure portal looks like. Okay, I already have accounts. I have just signed in. So once you can sign in, this is how this Azure, Microsoft Azure is look like. So there are two. There is main thing is a sub resource group. So resource group is just nothing. This resource group is a logical container where you can run your similar kind of data. So for an example, in your organizations, in your university, we have a finance department, we have admin department, we have faculties, and we have students. So there are certain other, like in the university, we have lots of like programs, like a engineering program, pharmacy program. So everything is a different. So you, let's an example, you are hosting one particular website for a engineering department, one a website for pharmacy. So you can create accordingly that particular resource group. Like one is for the engineering, one is for pharmacy, one is for Ayurveda, and then under that particular resource group, you can create whatever, like storage account, maybe server. So that is, resource group is nothing. It's just a logical grouping. Okay, you can give any name of that particular resource group, like any kind of name. It's just a one bucket where you can put all your relevant data. Okay, relevant data in sense, like one virtual machine is for engineering, one virtual machine is for uh, again, in the engineering you required further resources like storage account. So you can put it everything in one particular bucket. That is what name is engineering. Then if you have something different, like an example, the data SQL database, and then something like IoT services for the iOS pharmacy department. So you can create one particular resource group for pharmacy, and then you can put it inside that. Okay, so resource group is nothing. It's just a logical grouping, or maybe we call it as a bucket where you can dump relevant data. Okay, so I have already created one particular in the name of the demo. Let's create one more. So here what you need to give is just a simple name. Like let's an example, we are creating for CAC. Okay, CAC is our department. So we create for CAC, and then you have to select the region. So we can go with the Asia because it's the nearest to us, and just review it and create it. So this is this is not any kind of service basically. It's just a resource group which we have created because I need everything to put inside this particular region only. Okay. So click on this particular thing. Now we need to create one particular virtual machine. So what we need to do is just click on create, select this virtual machine. So virtual machine name, maybe demo one. Okay. The region is East Asia, or maybe we can go with the India itself. Central India. There is no availability we required. Okay, what kind of virtual machine you want to install? Like Ubuntu, Linux, Oracle Linux, Debian Linux. So these are the flavor of the Linux. CentOS, Red Hat, SUSE, Ubuntu. These are the Linux flavor, and there are some Windows flavor as well. So Windows 10, Windows Data Center. Let's an example. We want to install a Windows Data Center 2016. So we can select that one. Okay. Now it is asking for the size. So what kind of the size? So we have seen that particular size. Okay, the RAM, then CPU, then data disk. So highest is something like that. This kind of this uh, data disk. So 16 GB, 32 GB. If you go to the app series, so these are the different ones. This is again compute optimized. Okay, we have seen the general purpose and then compute and then memory. So we are using any one. So currently we'll just go with the basic one. We call this 8 GB one. Okay. So these are the size. Then username and password. Demo user will be our user, and the password will be demo user @123. Okay. Demo user 123. Oh, okay. And these are the firewall kind of rules, security rules we call it. The next is disk, how much RAM, what kind of the disk you require. So we'll go with the standard hard disk. Then networks. So if you want to create a network, you can create it here, or by default it will create with the name of CAC VNet. So as I told you, everything will be connected by a network. So first you need to create a network. But if you are not creating here, it will be creating by default. So it will create a network with the name of CAC VNet, and this is the default IP subnet. So this everything will be done by default. You don't need to do anything here. It will just review it and create it. So this will be the cost which you have to pay. So per hour you have to pay 14 rupees. Okay, for this particular virtual machine. So just click on create. So it will take some time to deploy. Okay. So this is this much how easy to use a server. So if you go with the some other offering like your like in on-premise server, so whenever you have to put a request like purchase order to the IBM, then the IBM will deliver a server to your particular location. Then you have to set up everything, like you have to configure the RAID, then you have to configure the network, you have to make some cooling facilities available to that. There will be some dual power like UPS power is available, you have to make available. So this is what you have to do prior to installation of server. But here you don't need to do anything. It's just quick and easy. Like you can configure an entire Windows 2016 server within just 2 or 3 minutes. Okay. So we'll come here later. It's still in progress. So meanwhile, we'll see the storage account creation. So if you go to the storage account, like just again come to the CAC, click on create resource. Here you have to search for the storage. Okay, this one is storage. So you can see the storage account. So just click on this, click on create. You can give the name CAC. Storage account name would be like, let's an example, demo PU. It's just an example. Any region is fine. Okay, the redundancy. So I'll just go with the locally redundant. Next, next, next. Create. So it's done. The virtual machine creation is completed. Go to the resource. So this is, yeah, this is what the virtual machine. So we have tried to create a virtual machine. So that is completed. 2016 data center virtual machine is completed. So if you want to connect that particular virtual machine, click on this RDP connect, download this file, click on that, username and password. So this connection will be allowed or not, I have to see. Sorry. Demo user. Yeah, so you can see this virtual machine is ready to use. Now in this particular virtual machine, you can host IIS server or maybe web server, maybe email server, maybe network storage file and everything. So this is how the quick is. Okay, you can have everything to be configured here. So this virtual machine is available for use. You can configure uh, any website on top of this particular virtual machine, right? If you want to see the details, uh, where is the network? Okay. So quickly we'll move because we have only 5 minutes left. So if you go to this properties, you can see this server detail. Okay, this server have 8 GB RAM, 64-bit operating system, and this is the Windows 2016 data center. Okay, now you can host anything on this particular data center, and you can like in this particular virtual machine, and you can have run this particular thing. Okay, so I'll just quickly shut down this virtual machine, and we'll move to the storage account. Okay, so this is okay, done. Now moving to the storage accounts. I think this storage account is also ready to use. Where it is? Okay, this one, the demo PU. Demo PU is a storage account. Okay, if you see in the storage account, there are 4 offerings. Like one is a queue. Queue is for messaging. Tables is for rows and column. Database kind of tables, and then file share is the network file share, and the container we call it is a blob, big large object. There you can put anything. Okay, here you can just create one container name is a like for an example video. Okay, you have to upload some videos. In that case, you have to create one particular video name folder, and here you can upload anything data. Like, okay, you can just click on upload, and you can select your file and you can upload it. Let's an example, this is one of the file which I need to upload. Just simply click and upload, and it will be available here. Okay, now if you see, if you want to access this particular file, I think you can go to the properties of this particular file and you can access. Okay, this is the URL. Okay, this URL you can use it and you can access the file from anywhere from the internet. Okay, so this is how the storage account looks. So for an example, so we have installed one particular virtual machine, that is the infrastructure as a service. These all offering which I have shown you, the storage account and these are the infrastructure offering. But like an example, you don't want to install this infrastructure and all that. You want to have a platform as a service. So what you can do is you just click on create, select the web app. So ultimately, what you want to do is you have to host your application, okay, website. So instead of going to this one, you can just click on create web app. Okay, click on create the name demo pu net. Okay, I'm just giving the net as an example. .net. Okay, select the .net. Region will be US. That is fine. Next is deployment. Let's review and create it directly. So I think it will take 1 minute. So we still have 3 minutes. So any questions you guys have? Meanwhile, I'll just show you the platform as a service demonstration. Any doubts, any questions? Please unmute and can ask. Just a minute. So earlier, what we have done is we have done some virtual machine deployment. So we have created one virtual machine with the Windows flavor, Windows 2016. What we can do is once the machine is available, after that particular thing, we go to the virtual machine, we connect the virtual machine. We in that particular virtual machine, we install the web servers, and then we host our website on top of that. Okay, so that is what we call it as a website as a sorry infrastructure as a service. But this is what is a web app service. So here you can just click on this browse and you can see this website is running. This is a .NET website is running. It's very quickly and easily available. Understood? So this is what we call is a platform as a service. Okay. This how much it's just a 1 minute, I think not even 1 minute, less than 1 minute this website is ready. Okay, we can directly just click on this and it will be running. So let now you don't want this particular page, okay, you want to upload your own pages. So what you can do is there is some facilities available, this publish profile. So you can just download this publish profile and this FTP is available. So in this FTP is basically file transfer protocol. So just copy this particular thing, download this publish profile, and then username and password, you just connect with that and you upload your pages, your website pages. Okay, whatever website you have designed, you can upload here and then that page will be available to here. Okay, so this is how quickly you can run your website here. Understood? So I think I'm just completing my session here. So any doubts, any questions, anyone have anything, you can ask me now. Over to you. Okay. Okay, then I think we are winding up the session. Thank you.